Hi, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, my name is Diego Reategi. I am 33 years old and I'm an English teacher in Japan. Konnichiwa. I'm I'm doing a daily Periscope every day. Hi, Olvin. Hello, Olvin. Thank you for joining. Um, I'm doing a daily Periscope every day, and today I want to talk about how to be an English teacher here in Japan. I've been here for 6 years, and a lot of the tips a lot of the things I'm going to tell you is going to work in Korea and it's going to work in China. It'll probably work in many other places around the world just teaching English. If you're a native English teacher and you've graduated college with a 4 year degree, you have a degree, then you have what you need to be an English teacher here. Uh, the only other thing you need is just the confidence to tell the employers that yes, you can. So I'm going to tell you three tips which I think are really important to become an English teacher here in Japan. Um, the first one would be to learn the language. That's pretty self-explanatory, but if you don't know the language, Ernest, hello Ernest, hi, nice to, thank you for joining. Um, Learning the language. If you don't learn the language, how about let me tell you what happens if you do learn the language. If you do learn the language, you learn the vocabulary that they work with. You learn the sentence structure that they work with. Many ways of self-expression that they have can be different from your ways of expressing yourself. And you can talk about all about how you express yourself, but if you don't find a way to connect it to what they're having a hard time of understanding, then it's going to be really hard to convey the information you want. It's really hard to teach it. So if you learn their language, number one, you know how they feel, right? So you have some kind of empathy towards learning a new language. You can see it from their perspective because you're also learning their language, and it also helps you connect both culturally and vocabulary-wise, grammar-wise. A lot of schools here don't want you to use Japanese when you're teaching, but I think using sparsely when you sense that the student you're losing the student, they're not following. If you pepper it in there just so give them enough breadcrumbs to follow you to the point where you're at, then that's really helpful. So yeah, it's empathy and it helps you connect with the students. That's the first one. Learn the language. Over here, it's learn Japanese. Learning speaking and writing are really hard. The speaking you can somewhat learn that just going to places and speaking a lot. Writing, that requires a lot of work. If I had a Japanese book, I have many behind. I'll show you. Whoa, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna try not to move the camera a lot. If this is upside down, I'm sorry. My tablet is wonk. This is what I did for about 6 months. Where's my writing? Here we go. This is my... oh God. In case you're wondering why I'm having such a hard time, everything's reversed. This is what I did for about 6 months so I can get my N3 level certification. This is what I did with kanji that I forgot how to write. So to learn the written language, it takes hard work. You just gotta do it. Do it every day for about an hour. This is what is it? This is the kanji book. This is the let's see, Nihongo Noryoku Shiken Shinkanzen, I think that is Master Kanji. So this is the kanji book. This is a practice test book. This is Nantoka Kaku. I think this is an understanding. You read passages. Yeah, read passages and then answer questions on the passages. I hate these. I'm so slow at reading. And they trick you. They're like trick questions, bastards. This is Bunpo, grammar. And I don't know what this is. Goi? Vocabulary? Anyways, yeah. you want to learn the language, just speaking the language, it's much easier than learning the actual writing. The writing is a pain in the butt. For me particularly, the way that they have different readings for the kanji, that can be a pain in the butt. I'll give you an example. The kanji for like, suki. Do I have something to write with? I have this. Do I have a marker? I have a writing utensil. Give me a second. So the kanji for like can be used in different ways. Here, let me write it down. I'm going to try to write it so you can see it. The first part of the kanji is woman. Woman and child. Put those together and that's the kanji for like, right? So if you put the simple hiragana, if you don't know Japanese, there are 3 alphabet systems, 3 writing. There's the complicated stuff, which is the kanji, and there's the simple stuff, 2 simple stuffs, 2 versions, which are the same thing. Anyways, this is pronounced su, this is ki. Ski means like. But if you have the same kanji, and you have mi, this is su, I'm sorry. When you have mi, it's not read suki, it's read konomi. This means like, this means preference, right? And if you put the kanji for yaki, to grill, afterwards, I don't know the kanji. I can write it in the simpler alphabet. Ya, ki, that's terrible. It becomes konomiyaki, right? And if you put the o, okonomiyaki, if you know any kind of Japanese food, you know that means like it's kind of like a pancake made out of cabbage, and I don't quite know how to describe it. Okonomiyaki. Look it up. Anyways, there's different readings for almost every kanji, and many of them, the majority of them, have more than 2 readings. So that screws me up on tests a lot. It slows me down. But it helps, and you can talk about that. It helps relate with the students. And when you, like often, so many times in my elementary schools, I'm teaching them some simple stuff, and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of a kanji that I learned. Check this out. I write it on the board, and like, I say, yeah, and then I realize that you can also write it like this, and it's a different reading. Why? And everyone gets a kick out of it, right? So that's my first tip. Learn the language. It helps you connect with the students. It helps you understand kind of how they're thinking. So that's my first tip for being a good English teacher. The second one is get involved with the culture, with the people, with your community. In Japan, at least, they have lots of festivals that happen every year at around the same time. They have some really interesting ones, like the giant penis festival, which is for fertility. I really want to see it, but I haven't. There's a lot of burning stuff over here. Go out, and again, it helps you connect with your community, with the people that you're going to teach, because they live around there, and so do you. You can talk about what you did, right? If you always stay home and you are a hikikomori, right, then you really have nothing to connect you with the community that you're there. You could be there and not be there. Try new things, broaden your horizons, and try new things. Venture into new places, and it also helps you connect with the students. The more you can connect with them, the more they want to be around you, the more they will absorb the information you give them. So that's also part of being a good English teacher, right? So far, those 2 tips have nothing to do with English, right? Learn the culture, be part of the community, volunteer if there's a way. There's always some kind of community center. You can teach for free, right? Usually older people or younger people, really, really young. Or get involved with the community cleaning group, right? They get up really early and you go pick up trash. Japan is a really clean place. Why? Because old people get up early and they clean. If you've ever been to Osaka, like central Osaka, like the party town, at night, young kids smoking and drinking in early in the morning, like 50, 60, 70-year-old people like picking up the trash like it's nothing. And I'm pretty sure they're not paid for it. So get involved with the community, learn the language. And the third point that I want to talk about for being a good English teacher, being an independent English teacher, here we go, is start with an English conversation school. You could start and learn how to deal with children in a public school, either elementary or middle school. It's a little harder to get into a high school, at least for me. Like, I deal well with young children because I'm energetic and I'm like immature mentally, right? So I connect easily with them. Um, you could go that route, but then you only have experience with that age group and it becomes harder to do it independently, right? Being in a conversation school, most of them, uh, the majority of the customers are young children, but most of them also teach older adult students as well. And if you have experience with the younger children and the older students and everything in between, they'll give you a broad range of experience and it'll allow you to get comfortable with each group and learn like the quirks of working with old people versus young people versus teens versus 20 somethings. Everybody has a different goal. Like young children go because their parents take them, right? High school kids go because they want to get into a good college. 20 somethings go because they want to get in a higher position at work, right? Or the type that are not career oriented, most primarily women, want to do it because they want to travel and they want to have fun and they want to enjoy life. The old people, the like I had a World War II survivor, the nicest lady ever. She saved me in my first year here. Uh, she saved my life, I could say, because from where I come from in Miami, it's hot like all year round. And here they have all 4 seasons, which was new for me. And winter was freaking cold, like every day. So cold. And like I told her about it, and I wasn't really asking her for anything, but people are so nice. Especially in the countryside, the older people, they'll bring you presents almost every week. Like I've gotten apples, I've gotten steak, like the really good steak. She gave me this little old, sweet, wonderful World War II survivor gave me a hot blanket, like an electric blanket to put underneath my mattress so it would keep me warm. Saved my life, I swear. The lady is wonderful. Yeah, older people have different goals than everybody else, right? So working in an English conversation school, an Eikaiwa, A for ego, Kai for Kaiwa for conversation. Kaiwa means conversation. You'll get an experience and be able to get comfortable with teaching all sorts. For me, it took about a year before I felt comfortable sitting down and working with each age group. Like seriously, for the first year, I felt like really nervous. I'd like my pits would get soaked with sweat because I didn't know what I was doing, and there's not a lot of coaching sometimes. They say they have training, and it's like, watch this video for an hour, watch this guy do his lesson, and you're like, oh, okay. So like, when's the real training, right? Not just observing, and like, there's not. It's like, oh, you have a lesson tomorrow. You start, go ahead, and you're like, I'm not ready. And oh my god, I was panicking. Like people are paying how much money to be taught by me? Like back in America, I wasn't a teacher. I was an IT graduate, right? I did substitute teaching, which was like minimal preparation to actually lead a class of my own. Like substitute teaching is totally different. Well, yeah, it's totally different. Like you are the main teacher at an English school. They have team teaching sometimes, but that's like almost never happens. So yeah, learn the ropes. The English teaching business is the same everywhere you go. Yeah. Now, when you're in that job, try to get better, right? If your goal is to be an independent teacher, You want to be able to teach people and be good enough that they'll stay with you, that they'll recommend you to others, and you'll get more business, more students. Then you want to get better at it, right? So do your best to learn the learn the rules, not the rules, learn how to teach, learn how to teach better, more efficiently, learn how to deal with customers. It's not just about teaching, it's a service industry. So you have to learn how to appease the customer, give them what they want, find out what their goals are, and create a plan, at least like general at first. As you work with them, you'll be able to solidify the approach you're going to take and the road you're going to take for each student, because each student is unique, right? And so you have different learners, right? Visual learners, auditory learners, like you have people who need to work with their hands to learn, and you'll learn all those kind of things working in the safer environment of an established English school. So do that, learn, try to get better. No, don't try to get better. Because if you've never taught English, this is your chance. And thankfully, it's really easy to get in the door. Like, there's so many people trying to get in. You got to keep knocking on a bunch of different doors, sending out your resumes. Eventually, you'll get in. Once you get in, smile really big. That's so important. Remember, never forget, you're teaching, quote unquote, you're teaching English, but it's a service industry, right? You have to appease your customer because they can leave whenever they want. It's not a public school in a eikaiwa, in a conversation school. So learn your customer and give them what they want. So those three things. Learn the language. If you can, if you got the guts and you got the drive to get a high level of language, in Japan they have five different levels of certification for Japanese. N5 is the lowest. It's like really standard basic, like this is book. My name is watashi wa something. N4 is like, okay, you've done like maybe a year of studying in like college. N3 is what I took. It's kind of challenging. It's like casual. N2 is like, okay, you're getting kind of up there, right? You're like nearly, maybe your business level. And N1 is like, you're a freaking professor, right? You know more kanji than the natives do. I have no hopes of ever getting to this. I will try to get N2 someday. Right now I have N3. Learn the language. Second is get involved with the community. It'll help you connect with the students, and it'll help you be part of the community. That's important. And the last one, and I can't place them in order of importance. They're all really important. You can think of it as a triangle then. The triangle of independent English teaching. Work in a English conversation school. Experience in a public school teaching children is good. It's never going to be a waste. In fact, it's arguably easier than working in a conversation school. Why? Well, if you want to know, then ask. But there's a lot of reasons why it's easier. For the most part, you're not the main teacher. You're asking the Japanese teacher who teaches English what they want to be done. And for the most part, they want to be hands off. They're like, just do your thing. If you're confident, then they'll do that. And for the most part, when they say that, I'm like, oh, I have to work harder. But in an English conversation school, you get the broad experience from young to old. And when you're confident and when you feel like you get a new student and you're like, okay, I know what to do, we'll start here. Or when you get that feeling like, yeah, I basically know what to do, then you find out you have to start putting yourself out there, right? It's not morally right to steal your students from your school. People have done that. I didn't want to. And I didn't. Not exactly. I didn't steal it. I didn't steal any students. I used my connections, which I think is fair, right? Like, I knew people that were coming to the school, and they told somebody else, and that became my student. So I didn't steal a student. I just used my connections, which is fair. Diego's gotta eat too. So then you have to put yourself out there. And there are websites that you can sign up to be to where Japanese people who are looking for an English teacher will look, right? One of them is called bestsensei.com. That's BESTSENSEI.com. I'm not affiliated with them, but I use them. You could probably look me up, Diego Reategui. DIEGO REATEGUI. It's kind of an older picture, but I think I still have this little chubby hige, this mini. What is this called? Goatee? Goatee is down here, right? They say chubby hige. Nobody has this over here. This is my special characteristic. I always say this is my tokucho, my special characteristic. Like, why do you have a little beard? I'm like, because it's me. And that's how I want to be. Oh yeah, so you put yourself on websites, and so people who are looking will go think, I want to find somebody in Wakayama, which is where I'm at. I want to find somebody who teaches Spanish, which I do. And then there'll be a list of people in Wakayama. It's just me. So if you want to learn Spanish in Wakayama, you come to Diego, porque Diego enseña español. Hola. And there are many websites. So that's one, people come to you. The other one is you tell people, right? If you have any friends who want to learn English, right, I'll do it. And I'm just starting out, so I only charge like $20 an hour, right? Once you have experience and you feel confident, $30 is okay. Once you feel like you're good, like you can try to charge $40. Not everyone can pay for $40 an hour, so that's part of reading your customer, right? When you meet them for the first time and you do a demo lesson, maybe something short, 20-30 minutes, maybe something where you talk about what their goals are and you find out what they want to do. Do they want to learn English for traveling, for business, for getting a higher position in their career? Then you can also gauge, like, how much do you think they might pay? And you say, like, all right, well, this is how much I charge, if you don't already have it written down. In Best Sensei, you have to write down how much you charge for an hour. But then, you can negotiate. But say it with a straight face. If you're not confident, if you don't think you're worth it, then don't say it. But yeah, those are my 3 tips on becoming an independent English teacher in Japan. These tips will probably work in other Asian markets and probably in other markets all around the world. If you are a native English speaker and have a college degree, you can get into any English school in Japan. That's what I know. Learn the language, get involved with the community, and work at an English conversation school to learn the ropes. Once you get good, then you can take the next step. So that was it. That was my daily Periscope for Sunday, December 13th. My name is Diego Reategui. And if you like this, give me some hearts. And I talk about teaching English, I talk about Japan life, I talk about fitness. I'm really into that. And yeah, thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, give me a what's up, hey, and I'll see you next time.